I'm a recent graduate from Washington State University, and my major is computer science with a minor in mathematics. And recently, I've been working as a software engineer intern at SCL on the firmware testing team. And my um, recently I've been programming in Python, so I have a strong skills in Python, and also with a solid understanding of the object-oriented programming and C and C++, since those are the languages that I was first taught at school, and also used a TA in the lab, leading a student up to 18. And this after graduations, I'm looking for a full-time positions. Thank you.
Great start. Let's see. Dot. Dot. Can you chat about your technical skills that connect to computer science next time? That would help flesh out your answer and give it plenty of substance. Let's try the next. Tell me about a time you had to optimize an existing system or process. What was the challenge? What steps did you take? And what was the outcome?
Yeah, so I'm happy to share my experience how I optimize Python automation testing script. So the way it works was the other firmware team developed a executable that will automate automatically test the shared settings model or shared settings from the firmware. And in order for that to work on for functional testing in AFT, which is a proprietary tool they've been using in CL to automate the functional testing, it needs a script. And the test executable, there is a huge latency. Even to run it, it may take a couple of seconds. And then we were given with thousands of test cases. And if we run the test executable on each one of those test cases, like there, it will be extremely time consuming and inefficient because there were quite a number of default test cases as well, in which we passed in no changes to test executable. Since we're passing no changes, obviously the result will be the same. And why would I need to run the test executable when we're expecting the test result to be the same with no changes in the test cases? So we cache those default result coming out of the test executable in the script and in each test object created. So it will do the simple if statement if the cache data structure is the same, it will indicate that the test case is default, and then hence skipping the test executable. And as a result, it hugely improved the optimizations in the latency. And yeah.
You've been involved in several significant projects and roles, such as the Boeing Capstone Project and your software engineer internship, while maintaining a strong academic standing. Can you describe how you managed competing priorities and maintained excellence in both your studies and practical applications? And how you would apply these time management and prioritization skills in a demanding software development role?
Yeah, absolutely. So um, the main motivation behind this, I just wanted to take advantage of all the resources that I've given and the time that I have, because time doesn't wait for us, and I need to be proactive in order to reach out to those resources and make use of them. And that's exactly what I did to the best of my ability, so that to maximize my potential growth uh, as a computer science student. And I mainly prioritized. I used to write things what I had to do today and throughout this week on a yellow sticky note. And sometimes for meeting, I schedule leave a schedule note in my Outlook calendar so that I don't forget if there's any upcoming meeting and so on. So whenever I open my laptop, which some sort of become my habit as a student, because I always do the assignment pretty much every single day and or work so that I can actively see okay what I have for today or for tomorrow, the day after tomorrow or this week, so that it will help me mentally be prepared for what's coming next and thinking about okay today I'm gonna do this, tomorrow I'm gonna do that as well. So this is how I sort of prioritize tasks based on the deadlines and also thinking about how much time it's gonna take and in advance so that it helped me able to submit assignments and get them done on time. Thank you.
Given your experience with machine learning models and data analysis, how would you approach building a predictive model from limited or unlabeled data? And what strategies would you employ to validate its consistency and predictive accuracy in such constrained environments?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. Let me think about it. Hmm.
Hmm. Since your reply was pretty short, let's brainstorm how to make it better. What do you think of talking about your future? But for now, let's move on to the next topic. Give me an example of a time when you had to work with complex data or unstructured information, such as firmware prompts or unlabeled data. How did you approach understanding and processing this data? What tools or techniques did you use? And what was the result of your analysis?
Yeah, so I mainly represents unstructured data in JSON, and which was the main tool they SCL has been mainly using it. So SCL, so it it really facilitates my visualizations of how the unstructured data looks like if I can't think of JSON simply as a dictionary. So so within each curly braces, there is a key value pair, and then within those key value pair, depending on the what the type of the value is, there could be another curly braces or the list, and that's how I sort of mainly that's how sort of like to visualize JSON unstructured data structure. It just nothing more than just a dictionary.
Way to be, Jay Hong. When you talk about a specific situation, go into even more detail. That way, someone unfamiliar with the circumstances can follow along very easily. Let's see how you do on the next question. Imagine you are working on a critical automated testing script for a pre-release product, similar to your experience with on-device testing. You discover a significant discrepancy between the expected behavior and the actual output, potentially indicating a major bug. What steps would you take to investigate this issue, and how would you communicate your findings to the team and stakeholders, especially if it impacts the release schedule?
Yeah, definitely. So I would first get try to like track down to the root cause analysis, try to find out what's going on, and then try to debug if there's anything buggy going on inside of my test script, because it could be either bugs from this specs or could be bugs from my testing script. So I will do the debugging and then simply passing in some of the similar test cases manually or a couple of them to see if they are spitting out the expected behavior, expecting outcomes. And if they do, then it has nothing to do with the testing script. And I will go and then report this bug to my supervisors, and also indicating that there might be a bugs from the specs, because and then also the way how I would persuade my teams and stakeholders that um, if there is a need to delay the product release date is ensuring its product reliability is highly critical in electric power systems company, because if there's anything buggy happening when it comes to like tripping a circuit breaker, then the consequences will be disastrous, like having a circuit breaker in undesirable situations, or when it needs to be, if the circuit breaker doesn't happen, for instance, then the devastating effects could just be cascading just downward instead of isolating the default to one place. And even if the product is released with the potential bug, then our team will be just constant anxiety of, oh, if there's any buggy happenings, like we'll, like, the worst case scenario, we might have to call it a red light. It's just not only delaying, stop putting a halt in the productions, that it also has makes customers have bad reputations of our work and the product, the quality of the product that we made working on, and then we don't want that happening. So it's always better to ensure the product reliability before we release it, despite pushing the release date. That's how I would persuade this, potential stakeholders and my supervisor. Thank you.
Imagine you are leading a small team developing a new software product. Due to an unexpected change in market demand, a critical feature that was planned for the next release needs to be completely re-architected, and this change will significantly impact several other modules currently under development. How would you approach assessing the scope of this change, communicating the implications to your team and stakeholders, and reprioritizing tasks to ensure the project stays on track while minimizing disruption?
Yeah, so I would first reassure all my team members as a leader that constant updates under the, especially under the agile methodology, is actually pretty common in the software industry, because software industries, the demands and the needs of the stakeholders and customers are constantly changing at a rapid pace. And also, I actually experienced that um, there were a lot of the needs that have been changed, so that I need to go back to my code base and then update it from my supervisors. So I would always emphasize the importance of the code reusability and the scalability, because if the code base is not scalable, modularized, based, without the proper object-oriented principles usage, for instance, then it will be obviously hard to figure out where to update the code, add or remove the features. It would take a lot of time. And then we don't want that, especially in an agile environment where there may be a lot of the changes are being updated. So that's what I will emphasize to all my team members, to ensure that even if there is a change that needs to be happened, it can be refactored and quickly.